think biology is nothing but microscopes and sterile labs. Think again. Biology actually began with the very first question humans ever asked just to stay alive. In this video, we're taking a fast, non-stop, 8-minute journey from ancient caves to microscopic cells, following the story of biology and the curiosity that shaped it. For us today, biology often means laboratories, complex charts, and high-tech equipment. But in reality, it all started with a much simpler question. What do I need to know to survive? If we travel back to the misty days of early human history, long before writing even existed, we realize something surprising. The first humans were, in a way, the world's first biologists. They just didn't have a name for it yet. Survival demanded close attention to nature. Knowing which plant could ease a stomachache and which one could kill you in seconds wasn't an academic skill. It was the difference between life and death. This was biology in its rawest form, pure observation and trial and error. Early humans noticed that when animals were hunted, blood flowed, and when the heart stopped, life ended. They learned which leaves could slow bleeding and help wounds heal. These discoveries became the earliest, most primitive foundations of modern medicine and botany. The concept of homeostasis we study in high school today, the body's effort to stay balanced, isn't that different from a caveman stepping into a cold river to lower a fever? As humans settled into permanent communities, these scattered observations slowly became organized knowledge. In Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, Sumerians and Babylonians began cataloging the natural world. They carved the names of thousands of plants and their medical uses onto clay tablets. For them, biology and medicine weren't just physical sciences, they were deeply connected to how the universe itself functioned. In ancient Egypt, this knowledge reached an entirely new level. We often associate Egypt with mummies, but the mummification process was essentially a large-scale anatomy lab. Preserving a body for thousands of years required removing organs and understanding how the body was structured. Egyptian medical papyri suggest they recognized the heart as the center of the body and sensed that blood moved through vessels. Early clues to the circulatory system discovered millennia ago. In ancient China and India, biology developed a more systemic and philosophical dimension. Chinese medicine focused on qi, or life force, the idea that the body functions through balance between organs. Their mastery of herbal medicine and acupuncture reflects an early understanding of regulation within the body, what we might now associate with nervous and hormonal systems. In India, the Ayurvedic tradition emphasized that humans are inseparable from nature and that biological processes are linked to seasons, diet, and environment. This was, in many ways, an early form of ecological thinking. The shift from mystical explanations to a science based on cause and effect happened in ancient Greece. This is where Hippocrates enters the story. He argued that diseases were not punishments from the gods, but had natural, physical causes. That idea alone changed everything. His core principle was simple, but powerful. Observe carefully, record honestly, and analyze logically. The title Father of Biology, however, belongs to Aristotle. He wasn't only a philosopher, he was a tireless observer of life. He spent hours studying animals, especially near the sea, and created one of the first classification systems, known as the Scala Naturae. He grouped organisms from simple to complex and divided animals into those with blood and those without, what we now call vertebrates and invertebrates. This obsession with classification became the foundation of modern taxonomy. Later in the Roman era, Galen expanded anatomical knowledge through dissections of pigs and monkeys. His work dominated medical thinking for centuries. While not always accurate, his mechanical view of the body shaped biology well into the Middle Ages. During that period, much of this ancient knowledge was preserved and expanded in the Islamic world. Scholars like Ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna, organized biological and medical knowledge into systematic systematic frameworks in works such as the canon of medicine. Botany and pharmacology advanced rapidly during this time. The next major turning point arrived with the Renaissance. Curiosity about the human body shifted from artistic fascination to scientific investigation. Andreas Vesalius challenged Galen's authority by observing real human anatomy and correcting long-standing errors. Biology was no longer about repeating old texts, it was about trusting direct observation. Soon after, William Harvey demonstrated that blood circulates continuously through the body, proving that the heart functions as a mechanical pump rather than a mystical center. Yet an entire hidden world still remained unseen. The invention of the microscope in the 17th century changed everything. Robert Hooke examined a thin slice of cork and noticed tiny compartments that reminded him of monastery rooms. He called them cells. He didn't realize they were the basic units of life. He was simply describing a structure. Around the same time, Antonie van Leeuwenhoek used handcrafted lenses to examine a drop of water and made a shocking discovery. He saw tiny living organisms moving, feeding, and multiplying. He called them animalcules. Without knowing it, he became the first person to observe bacteria and protists. These discoveries led to the development of cell theory in the 19th century. The statement, "all living things are made of cells," may sound obvious today, but it unified biology under a single idea. When Rudolf Virchow added that every cell comes from another cell, biology's focus shifted from entire organs to microscopic processes inside the cell. This is where history directly connects to modern biology classes. The topics taught in schools today reflect the milestones of this long journey. Studying the characteristics of life echoes Aristotle's early observations. Learning about cell structure mirrors the excitement of Hooke and Leeuwenhoek. Exploring biomolecules is simply a chemical-level explanation of what ancient healers once searched for in plants. Metabolism and energy flow are our modern answers to the timeless question, what is life? Biology's history shows us that science doesn't move in a straight line. It grows brick by brick. The knowledge gained by a hunter experimenting with poisoned arrows eventually evolved into modern pharmaceuticals. Aristotle's attempt to classify fish paved the way for DNA sequencing and evolutionary biology. The DNA helix and mitochondria studied in today's labs represent billions of years of evolution and thousands of years of human curiosity. Biology isn't just a collection of terms to memorize. It's the story of survival, discovery, and understanding ourselves. Every cell in our bodies carries this legacy. When we study biology, we're really studying our own history, and that story is still being written. From CRISPR gene editing to AI-driven protein folding and new cancer therapies, modern biology is simply the latest chapter in a journey that began with the first drawings on a cave wall. Biology is the scientific epic of what it means to be human, to be alive, and to belong to this extraordinary ecosystem. If you enjoyed seeing biology as a human story rather than just a list of terms, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the rest of this series.